Give us
Number
number 2.
two. You're going to get 2 for 1 in number 2 because we're picking 2 operating systems. And we're coming back to Microsoft. Microsoft Windows 1 and Microsoft Windows 2, released in 1985 and 1987, respectively. So honestly, these, in my mind, were prototypes. These were never intended to be major operating systems. As a matter of fact, they weren't operating systems. They were shells that ran on top of MS-DOS. MS-DOS was the predecessor, and MS-DOS is what you used before this. You would put in your floppy, you'd boot from your hard drive, you'd come to command line. Maybe you would get a menu, a custom menu systems that was designed if you were running in a custom environment. You type, dir C:, or whatever it might be, and that's how you would navigate before this. This was a very rudimentary, really barely graphical interface that let you click around and do some things. They were looking at trying to duplicate what was going on with the Mac and what trying to like catch up there. I really do feel that what this was their first prototype for what a graphic user interface should look like. I don't feel that this was an attempt to really catch the market. It was slow. There was really no overlapping of windows. It was just tiling of windows. It was really not a usable system, speaking specifically of the 1.0 version. And even as they started to get to 2.0 and started getting some more advanced features, it really wasn't anything compared to what you were getting. And even then, if you looked at what the Mac was compared to today, that was pretty rudimentary, but it was light years ahead of what you were getting from Microsoft. But then Microsoft released Windows 3.0 and then eventually 3.1, which added some really key features. And then they released Windows for Networking, which added some really key features. Then that was a game changer. They took off. And surprisingly, we keep talking about the fallout of all these different pieces. There was surprisingly little fallout. I don't feel that Microsoft lost a lot of money or lost market share for what happened with Windows 1 and Windows 2. What I was really saying is I think that Windows 1 and Windows 2 were training wheels for what really were their efforts to really go into Windows 3.0, and spoiler alert, what they were really working on as well for what we're going to go into with number 1. We're not going to talk about what that is yet, but that really helped them nail it for both the interfaces and what those 2 operating systems could do. And so I actually feel that the failures of Windows 1 and Windows 2 led to the success of Windows 3.0 and beyond.